Joining us now is Ms. Maxine Pierson. She's the CEO of a company called Biotech Incorporated. MJTV is their stock symbol. Maxine, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Don. It's always a pleasure to be here. That's for sure.
It's always a pleasure having you on the program. Why don't you tell us again what the company does?
Absolutely. We are a biotech company, but right now we're very, very active in the COVID vaccine field. As I was just mentioning to Don, this has been a crazy, exceedingly busy week because we have collaborated with Invest Africa. It is a legacy trading and biotech company that's existed throughout Africa for about 30 years. And they are assisting us in our COVID-19 testing of supplies and building relationships throughout Africa and keeping us very, very busy.
We put out a press release this week. Why don't you tell us about that?
Absolutely. It's really, really interesting, Don, to see, let's just say COVID has been around for a year and a half, how the industry itself has changed. If you remember when President Trump said it was like putting a cotton ball down his nose because the swab was so large, and then it became blood analysis, and now there's a tiny, tiny little swab. So in a relatively short period of time, the industry and the devices, if you will, for diagnostics have changed a lot. So we were very excited. Our first initial relationship with the various countries in Africa were with blood draws. They are the old gold standard, old, if you will, for diagnosis of COVID. However, along came the swabs and a rapid testing. So we're getting calls for the rapid as well.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, Dr. Fauci said this week that COVID is going to probably be around through the end of next year.
Well, so much to each his own, if you will. And I'm certainly not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but I think, for example, I happen to live in Florida. And our saturation of vaccination is huge. We're doing, I think, an exceedingly good job of getting vaccines. And once there's a vaccination, and I think things are going to go quite well. But for us as a business side, we're just scrambling, trying to answer the calls and keep the guys flying around to meet with. Oh, and if I may just kind of say this, the healthcare delivery system in Africa is very different than the United States. And I think that's something that the average investor has to understand. It takes a great deal longer to get something done.
Well, you mentioned being in Florida, and they've kind of bucked the trend against the rest of the country. Basically, things are wide open in Florida, aren't they?
Not only are they wide open, but we opened a brand new French restaurant a couple of nights ago in Palm Beach. It's a very different paradigm. We are a pro business community, and we just have a very different way of looking. Closing down isn't something that we want to do, and we feel is in the best interest of our state, of our economy. And plus, we have utilized our vaccines very well, very efficiently.
So what do you think the outlook for MJTV is for the rest of this year?
Well, busy, and permeating even more of Africa. That's going to be our first market. Much of this is, just to give you an overview, much of the third world country, and I'm including Africa in this, their medical system, delivery care system, with which we happen to be familiar, is done by the government. So it takes a little longer. Not that many people even have private insurance or even access to private insurance. And also, we've built up a very large relationship with what one would call the NGO, but also the pastoral religious community, because many of the churches and missions are also hospitals and clinics, and have been since the time of Queen Victoria, if you will. Mm-hmm. So that's what's been keeping us busy, Don.
That's fabulous. Once again, Biotech Incorporated, MJTV is their stock symbol. Maxine, always a pleasure having you on the program. Congratulations on your success.
Mine too. Thank you, Don. Have a great day. Bye-bye.